The curve tool, my absolute most favorite, most beloved feature in drawing programs ever, especially in Clip Studio. Why, you may ask? Because it can make you do really wacky, cool, fun things with colors. I use it pretty consistently, if not every time I do a full painting, because I tend to have an issue with undersaturating my drawings, and with me, I like my colors to make people's eyes bleed. I like stuff so saturated that it is physically painful to look at. Is that what the curve tool is actually for? Not really. But it is, in my opinion, the most superior color tone adjustment tool out there. Sadly, not every program out there has a curve feature. Like, the one I can think of that I've used is Paint Tool Sai. They do not have a curve feature in the program. So that is very, very tragic, because I still do some drawings in Sai. Like, I have it on my laptop instead of my desktop, because, I don't know, I just find it easier to use Sai with a pen tablet. But aside, anyways, we're using Clip Studio for this because Clip Studio is a very, very worthwhile art program. So, a lot of people typically, like, don't understand what a curve tool does. And a lot of times I see it used to make, like, really, funky types of color effects, like sheer, like opalescent colors. Just pretty easy to do with a curve tool. But I like to use it for enhancing the colors that are already in my art. And it did take a while to learn how to do it, so I figured that since a lot of people don't really know how to use the curve tool, that I just go ahead and make this video and explain how I use it. So, first off, I'm going to show this. This is a painting I did a while ago. The most I did was I just put a color filter over it that is gray to make it black and white. So I'm just going to go ahead and merge visible layers so that we're able to edit the entire image at once. Because the curve tool is a layer locked feature, meaning whatever layer you have selected is the one that it's going to be editing. So we go to edit, tonal correction, or just pressing D on your keyboard, and tone curve is the option towards the bottom between level correction and color balance. And what it does is it shows you the different levels of certain values in your artwork. It has RGB, which is the value setting, the light and dark. The red setting, which shows the levels of red in your illustration. Green in your illustration. Blue in your illustration. And where these nodules are shows you which part of the drawing that it is going to be impacting. So, towards the top, that is going to be impacting your highlights. So let's move this over, and if we move that up, it makes it brighter. If we move it down, it makes it darker. And then towards the center, those are going to be your midtones. Again, up, that makes it lighter, down, makes it darker. And the bottom one is going to be the darkest areas of your drawing. So move it up, they're going to be lighter, down, they're going to be darker. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, but go ahead, cancel that. So that is essentially what it's for, but another thing I see people do with the curve tool, once they get the hang of it, is they will have a grayscale image like this, and they will use the tone curve to edit it. So, like I said, with this, you can add red to your highlights even though it's a black and white image. So what people tend to do is that they see that they want, more of a reddish undertone in their painting. In the midpoint, they'll decide to go a little bit up with it to give it a red mid-tone. And typically when you have darker spaces, they lose warmer colors. So let's say, you know, the shadows here, those wouldn't be as warm as the midtones. So we're going to take that a little bit down. And then highlights tend to be warmer, more towards yellows. So we're going to move that up. And then we can do the same with green. I don't really mess around with the green too much. The most I do is I like get rid of it in my drawings. But see if we can try to make like a good color in with it. Oh yes, I love purple. Midtone, highlight. And then blue. In my opinion, blue makes the most impact when you go to edit it. It's probably because a lot of my drawings have blue and purple in it, so green, the reason I don't use it that much is because there isn't much green in my art to begin with. So let's say we want the midtones less green, not less blue. So we're gonna take that down pretty far. We want more blue in our darker areas, like I was saying before. So we're gonna take that up. And we want less blue in the highlights, maybe, so we're gonna take that down. If we don't like it, we can just add some more. Yeah, I didn't do a very good job, but it does create a good base for future coloring. So you can go like on an overlay layer and typically use the airbrush. Select like, I don't know, some proper mid-tone or like proper colors that you want in your image and just kind of go over it. And you're able to actually, you know, edit parts of the drawing like that. And you will still get some of the colored undertone from the curves that you just made. What did this look like before? I kind of just want to show it. Boom, that's what that looked like before. Anyways, so for note-taking purposes, RGB is your values. These are your highlights, these are your midtones, and this, I don't have two letters for it, this is for your shading, or dark areas. So, what else can you do with curves? Well, when you have flat colors like this, you can also use it to edit the basic midtones that you've already selected, because there are not anywhere near as many colors to work with as in the original drawing that I showed, but you can still have fun with it. Like, we want some of, you know, these sketch lines to be darker. You just have to take that down. But the drawback of the curve tool is that it is going to impact value and color at the same time. So it doesn't just make your dark parts dark, it will make the color of it dark too. So we want to bring some color back into that, so we're going to grab our mid-tone and just bring it up a little bit. It makes it more saturated too, which I like, and that's ultimately what I'm looking for. So for the highlight, I guess we're just going to go back down to kind of have more of a balanced neutral start to it. And let's say I don't like how only his hair is blue. We're going to add in the mid-tone some more blue and to make him more of a purpley color. And yeah, that is what that does. Some drawbacks is that it is really, really, really easy to overdo it. So I tend to do that a lot. I'm gonna show a picture where I overdid it. So like in this image, if I didn't have curves used in this, and I wish I saved an actual picture of what it looked like before, but, you know, merging it all so that I'm able to, you know, do the entire drawing at once instead of just individual layers. But there's a lot of different colors going on here, and I don't really like how this one came out, but it's easier to see in the face especially how there's so many color gradations. Like it goes from like a yellow to like a red to a kind of green gray color to a blue to like all throughout there. So yeah, I consider this one that I've overdone, but that makes it another pro because sometimes you want to make your drawings look really, really, really dramatic. So a way to dramatize this one, I keep using this one as an example, I'm sorry. You can go into your curves and you can have a lot of fun with them. You can just be like, what if I want it super dark and then super light at the highlights? You can make your art look really, really dramatic. Another thing that it's really good with is it can help you with having muddy paintings. Muddy paintings are when you go to paint something and the colors just don't work out. Everything looks really desaturated. Everything is just kind of like the same kind of like value range and the same color range. So what it can help you do is like, I guess I'll like paint this in real quick, bear with me, to kind of show an example. Since I don't have too many colors going on here, it's probably gonna end up really muddy. So I didn't like paint the entire thing, but as you can see, a lot of the colors are just based on like a gray scale type, where at our color wheel, I don't really vary much between, you know, any other color. It's just this basic skin tone, either down or up. It's like we go from this to this. And that's not a lot of color dynamicness. But this isn't a color tutorial. So what you can do is you can go into curves and do that same thing. If you want like more red in the shaded area at the very bottom, you just bring that up. Then your midtones, you can bring that back down so that the midtones aren't as affected, and then there's more red within the shade. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that with like all the colors here. Say I want more blue in the shaded area, less in his midtones, and less in the highlights. Green, less green there because I am incapable of using the color green. And then, say you just want less of that in your midtone and highlight. And now, you go from this color to changing throughout the wheel for more color dynamic. Instead of before, where we were staying in this color range, just going, you know, up and down throughout it without much, you know, color wheel shift. We go from this range all the way over to the purples just by using the curve tools. I think the biggest drawback to the curve feature is that it is not present in all art programs. Like I said, with Paint Tool Sai, they do not have one, and a lot of programs that do have it, you actually have to pay for them. Like Procreate has it, but it's $10. Clip Studio has it. I forgot how much it costs, but it's not cheap. Photoshop has it, and it is notoriously a very expensive program because you pay for it monthly. I think Autodesk has it, but it's as a paid feature. So the curve tool is a very advanced feature in a lot of programs that not a lot of people understand, and a lot of programs will actually have it behind a paywall for whatever reason, even though it is the best tool to use for your colors, in my opinion. But there are some free programs that have it, like Fire Alpaca, and I always say Krita, even though people say it's Krita. I believe Metabang should, because Metabang and Fire Alpaca are from the same creator, so they share a lot of overlap in their program. And I haven't used Ibis Paint before, but I'm pretty sure if Ibis Paint has a liquify feature, they should have a curve feature. the curve feature is the best feature in any art program you can have, and this is a well-known fact. So, I don't know, I just hope this helps some of you understand the curve feature, and maybe entices some more digital painters to actually try to dabble with it instead of just, basic slider functions like level correction and brightness and contrast, because the curve feature, you can think of it like all the other tone effects wrapped into one thing. It's an amazing one. And yeah, liberate the curve feature from being behind paywalls in 2023. That is my message today. Okay, bye.